Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, ready to take on the world. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or simply unmotivated. The Stoics understood this fundamental aspect of human nature long before modern self-help. They knew that relying on a fleeting feeling like motivation was a recipe for inconsistency and frustration. Instead, they relied on something far more powerful and reliable: discipline. Today, we're going to explore why Stoic philosophy teaches discipline over motivation, and how this ancient mindset can create calm, consistency, and inner strength, no matter how you feel on any given day. Motivation is, at its core, an emotion. It's a powerful rush, but like all emotions, it's unstable. It depends heavily on your mood, your energy levels, and your external circumstances. When everything is going well, motivation is easy to find. But what about when you're tired, stressed, or facing a setback? The Stoics noticed that when people wait to feel ready, they often never act at all. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus taught that progress comes from action, not from waiting for the right feeling to strike. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to be perfect before setting sail. You might be waiting a very long time. If you only act when you're motivated, your progress will inevitably be inconsistent. You'll work in short, intense bursts, followed by long periods of inactivity. This creates a cycle of stress and guilt. When you're not working, you feel bad for not being productive. When you are working, you feel pressured to make up for lost time. This erodes your discipline. Each time you give in to the feeling of "I don't feel like it," you weaken the mental muscle of self-control. The Stoics believed that a steady, meaningful life requires steady, consistent effort, not the unpredictable highs and lows of emotional inspiration. They knew that true progress is built brick by brick, day by day, regardless of the emotional weather. The idea of discipline might sound uncomfortable at first. We often associate it with restriction, with forcing ourselves to do things we don't want to do. It can feel like a cage. But the Stoics saw it in the exact opposite way. For them, discipline creates freedom. True freedom isn't the ability to do whatever you feel like in the moment. That's just being a slave to your impulses. True freedom is the ability to choose your actions based on your values and long-term goals, even when your emotions are pulling you in another direction. Discipline removes chaos from your life. When your habits are disciplined, your decisions become simpler. You don't have to waste mental energy every morning debating whether or not to exercise, or every afternoon whether to get your work done or procrastinate. The decision is already made. This reduces anxiety because you're no longer constantly battling with yourself. It also helps fade the regret that comes from impulsive choices. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to act according to reason, not impulse. He knew that discipline protects your future self from the whims of your present emotions. By choosing the discomfort of discipline today, you are giving your future self the gift of peace, progress, and freedom. Another key aspect of Stoic discipline is that it's quiet. It isn't about dramatic, heroic acts performed for an audience. It's not about grand gestures or telling everyone how hard you're working. Stoic discipline is consistent, internal, and often invisible to the outside world. It's the quiet commitment to doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing restraint over a momentary impulse. It's about acting in alignment with your core values, not your fleeting emotions. For the Stoics, self-control was the highest form of power. Not power over other people or over external events. Those are things largely outside our control. The only domain we have true power over is ourselves, our thoughts, our judgments, and our actions. Mastering this domain is the true mark of a strong and tranquil mind. This quiet discipline is what separates a life of intention from a life of reaction. It's the silent engine that drives you forward, day after day, building a life of substance and character away from the noise of public validation. Confidence doesn't come from external praise or validation. It doesn't come from someone else telling you you're doing a good job. True, lasting confidence is forged from within. It comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every time you choose to act with discipline, every time you get out of bed when the alarm goes off, every time you choose the healthy meal over the junk food, every time you sit down to work when you'd rather be distracted, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Each of these small, disciplined choices builds trust in yourself. With each promise you keep, that inner voice of doubt gets a little quieter, and the voice of self-reliance gets a little stronger. This, in turn, increases your sense of inner calm. You begin to realize that you can depend on yourself to navigate challenges and stick to your goals. The Stoics practiced this kind of discipline daily, in every aspect of their lives, in their thoughts, their speech, and their actions. They understood that small, disciplined choices, compounded over time, are what build a strong, resilient character. Confidence is simply the byproduct of being a person you can trust. So, how did the Stoics train this muscle of discipline? They didn't just hope for it, they practiced it intentionally through simple, daily habits. One key practice was waking with intention. Instead of hitting snooze and drifting aimlessly into the day, they would rise and remind themselves of their purpose, their proper work as a human being. Another practice was limiting unnecessary desires by learning to be content with what is necessary and not constantly chasing more. They reduced the power that external things had over them. They also famously practiced voluntary discomfort. This could be as simple as taking a cold bath, eating a plain meal, or walking when they could ride. The point wasn't to punish themselves, but to train their minds to endure hardship gracefully. It made them more resilient, so that when real challenges arrived, they were already prepared. Finally, a crucial habit was evening reflection. Each night, they would review their day, asking themselves, "What did I do well? Where did I fall short? How can I do better tomorrow?" These simple practices weren't one-time fixes. They were a daily training regimen for the soul. strengthening the will and fortifying the mind against the chaos of life. In the end, motivation will fail you. That's not a pessimistic view. It's a realistic one. There will be days, weeks, or even longer when you feel no inspiration at all. But discipline will not fail you because it is not a feeling. It is a choice. Stoic wisdom teaches that a calm, strong, and meaningful life is built through consistent, deliberate action, not through waiting for emotional inspiration to strike. When you choose discipline over motivation, you gain clarity, you build real confidence, and you take control of your life. You become the master of your own mind rather than a servant to your fleeting moods. Walk the Stoic path with discipline, not impulse. Thank you for watching.